again before 8:30. We'll find out what it takes to be a good leader. We'll meet the author of this book, The Mark of a Leader. Stay with us. Welcome back to CH Morning Live, 8:23. Now, we all know there are leaders and followers in this world, and while there are exceptions, most people aren't born leaders. But it is possible to move from being a follower to becoming a leader. And joining me now with more on what it takes to be a leader, author Doug Keeley, and your book is called The Mark of a Leader. And it's interesting, some of the people that you profile in this book, very, very well known, and others I've never heard of before, but their implications are known. For example, the woman who formed MAD.
Candy Lightner, absolutely. And did it following a tragedy. Her daughter was killed by a drunk driver one Saturday afternoon. The guy had had previous charges. He was let off after, with practically nothing. And she got enraged, and she found other women in California who had suffered the same tragedy. And a year later, she had changed the laws across California.
And yet she was not a lawmaker or anything. She was a mom, right?
Her big advantage was probably she had no idea what it took to actually get the laws changed. But she was enraged, and she was pleading from a point of view of common sense and passion.
Right. Now, you started this book. It's really a collection of neat stories of leaders in all kinds of different fields and kind of the lessons that we can get from them. But you started out because you had a child and realized there are no real role models for them.
Absolutely. I maybe not no real role models, but I asked the question, who are they? We were talking before we started here about Paris Hilton. Is Paris Hilton supposed to be a role model for young women these days? You look at sports. When I grew up, all the athletes were squeaky clean. They didn't make a lot of money.
Right.
They did it because they loved it.
Because they loved the game.
Right. And now, is Barry Bonds our role model? Is that what we're telling kids it's okay to cheat?
Right. So you kind of researched all these leaders. How did you pick each one for each segment? Because you've got kind of the arts and visionaries and...
It was a bit of, I wanted to create a mix across all parts of life, I guess, if you could call it that. And part of it was stories that inspired me. Part of it was, as I researched more stories and more people, I started finding these incredible things. So as I was going, if it jazzed me, it made it into the book. And there were a few stories that I got down a road and there was just not the right conclusion, so it didn't make it into the book.
One of the most fascinating things I found was I kind of had an idea of how J.K. Rowling had started, kind of thing, but I didn't realize where the big idea for the Harry Potter series
on
came
a
from.
Train.
Right.
There's two great train stories. J.K. Rowling and Mother Teresa's not in the book, but her thing came on a train too. So just this idea came to her.
So J.K. Rowling was a secretary at the time, right?
Absolutely.
Making a very meager existence, single mom, on her own.
Yep, absolutely. And she had this idea for a story, and it wouldn't go away. And it took her a couple of years to write it. At one point, she was handwriting on pads of paper in cafes because there was no heating in her flat while her daughter was at school. Right.
And the rejection that came, letters of rejection from different publishing houses, but yet her example of leadership, I guess, is not giving up.
Don't give up. Absolutely. And the message of the subtext is inspiring stories of ordinary people who have done extraordinary things. And the message is, I believe Vince Lombardi, who said, leaders are made, not born. Right. And that if I talk about, you've got to be clear on what you want to do. You've got to believe in yourself and your vision. You've got to persevere. You have commitment. You have to be passionate about whatever it is you want to do, and ultimately be courageous, like J.K. was. She fought through all the rejection, all the hard times of being a single mom, and ended up with Harry Potter.
You've ended up with a website now, themarkofaleader.com, and that's where the book is available from, as well as Amazon, you said?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And you're actually, you do most of your things on the corporate circuit, but you're starting out with school boards as well in the area.
Absolutely, and I'm thrilled. Part of this is getting good role models in front of students, and I want to go into as many schools as I can and try and spread the message that the people that we look up to, the people who have done extraordinary things, are just ordinary people like you and I.
Who have had some life-altering change or have taken a very bad situation and made it into something good.
Absolutely. Or in the case of Florence Nightingale, came from a very comfortable life and took a chance and went out and put her life at risk in the Crimean War and changed nursing, basically created the modern nursing profession. So she went the other way around.
It's a fascinating book that in the book it kind of leads off that there's going to be more of these, right?
Yes, there will be more.
Okay, with more examples.
There will be more.
Doug Keeley, thanks again so much for coming in. Again, the website is themarkofaleader.com.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and we'll be back with more news at
Thank you very much.
Hopefully good news, encouraging news.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Thank you.
No problem.